Bonjour, everybody, my name is Ben, and we're finally back with the second, technically, custom review of the year, which this time it is for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I started these back in December once the movie had immediately come out, and I made about two figures, I made one figure last year, and then made a couple at the beginning of this year, and then I just kind of stopped because I got busy with the Marvel project. But then I just, this last week, I finished the Marvel project last week, and I was like, hey, what can I do? I was going to work on Undertale, and then I was like, hey, I could really crunch and finish Spider-Verse this week, and then post Spider-Verse before I post the Marvel 10 years thing. So yeah, here we are. And just a quick note, the air conditioning in my house for some reason is really cold, so if you catch my my wonderful coat that I'm wearing, it's not a coat. Why am I having trouble using English? So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into it with the first figure, which is my Miles Morales Spider-Man. And you immediately notice something. And I finally named him, getting Montgomery the Monofig. Monty Mono. You can tell something pretty immediately. This guy, he's got his little swivel arms, but he's sticking his arms out like that. That is because I ball jointed his arms so they can move in all sorts of different directions. And man, a friend of mine made a custom Miles Morales. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, so I don't really have anything to shout out, or any social media for that matter. But he made a Miles Morales in his jacket and everything, and I thought, man, that's really cool. And I kind of wish I made that one. And this was one of the first figures of the challenge, so he doesn't look as good as some of the others, or not really challenge of the fig. You know. I kind of wish I made the other one, but I'm pretty cool with this one. I think it turned out really well. Buljo into arms are really fun to make. I won't tell how. There's like a million tutorials online, and I'm planning on doing a tiny tutorial in a upcoming video that I already recorded a couple parts of for it. And so, yeah, sorry, I just keep twisting these. I have a lot of fun with them. It's just to make him really get all those cool Spider-Man poses in. And so, I basically painted all his lines with dark gray paint. And then I had this problem with the majority of them, that their eyes have too much space between them. But whatever. And red's really hard to work with, but I tried to give it a graffiti kind of look, so I didn't do multiple layers for that. Not laziness. I did that on purpose. I promise. 100% on purpose. And I just kind of traced the outline of the Spider-Man suit from the movie, and then made in dark gray. I think he turned out pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan. A lot of my friends really like him, but I'm just kind of like, eh. But whatever. I don't know if I could do much better, even though I'm better at customizing, because that was like a third of a year ago. But, yeah. Now let's move on from one of my least favorites to definitely 100% my favorite, which is Peter B. Parker. So yeah, as soon as I saw 97 Lego Maniac, that's his name, right? Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, I got it correct. As soon as I saw 97 Lego Maniacs, Spider-Man with the Spider-Verse review, I was working on my Marvel 10-year project, and I was like, hey, I should have made a Peter B. Parker, because for some reason I just never even thought about making him, because I kept turning over in my head about doing Spider-Ham or not, and I didn't. But I did do this boy, Peter B. Parker, and I'm very, very happy I did. As you can see, I sculpted his gut, which is my second time to do that. The first time being my wonderful, wonderful April Fool's project, Big Chunkus. So as you can see, I kind of made it more of a pot belly and less of a whole stomach. You can't really see, sorry, hit my microphone. You can't really see how big it is because of his jacket, but it is bigger, maybe bigger than it should be, but I think it looks really good. And then I'm really proud of the lining, because I've only done the Spider-Man lines like a couple times before, including this Miles, and the figure I made for Decent Customs, the PS4 Spider-Man. Spider-Man PS4. But yeah, I did a custom face. It started out as a Chris Pratt head, as you can see from this side. And I basically just... Is that a hair on him? What on earth? I basically took off the eyebrows and the mouth and part of the beard and just kind of redid most of it. And I'm really, really proud of it. I think it's really great. One of my best custom faces, definitely. And then I painted his trench coat. I think that turned out really nice. Oh yeah, and the hair is just the dog show host hair in dark brown, and I just dry brushed some gray onto it and make him look a little old. And then I chose to do him in his yoga pants version instead of in the mismatched shoes. So yeah, he is barefoot. And I think it turned out pretty well. On the back here, I kind of got the paint splotchy. Probably could use another layer. But I think he's really good. I love this figure. So yeah, that's it for Peter B. Parker. Now we're going to move on. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention Miles Morales is the first ball-jointed figure I made. And now moving on to the fourth ball-jointed figure I made. I made a lot of figures since that Miles. I just heard a weird sound. This is my Gwen Stacy, and I don't know what messed up. I think it may be because I used different glue, but for some reason her arms are doing this, her ball joints are doing this thing where they turn all gray, and then they like kind of stick. They're a little sticky. You can hear that ASMR creep. So yeah, there's just a little ball joint ASMR for you. But I know my brother and my friends really like this figure. I don't know. Not the biggest fan, but I think it turned out pretty great. I used the classic hood piece. I probably could have used a different one. I think that the Lloyd hood is better for her, but I didn't have one, and I thought I could just modify one of these, and I think it turned out pretty good. And so then it took the torso was kind of globby because I had to paint a million layers because at first I had to do white, and that takes forever, especially if you're doing it on a white torso that has printing on it. And then I just painted on the black and did all the little... she doesn't have many details, but she was really hard to make just because of that mostly. But yeah, I think she looks really good, and the way I made this Carrie, I think that turned out pretty well. And then I made her shoes. Pretty proud of how those came out. Came out pretty well. And then I did a little spider pattern on her arms. And man, I don't know why these ball jointed arms are so sticky. And also, I'm scared I'm going to ruin the figure, but whenever I take off her legs, the top are turned all white because of this paint as well. Let me see. But I'm not going to test that because last time I did, this arm completely broke off, and that's why you can kind of see the black line more than the other. I don't know why it ended up being so long, but yeah, that is Spider-Gwen. Not my favorite figure, but I don't know, she's fine. Then we're moving on to the first figure I made for this, so probably not the best, which is Spider Noir. I didn't give any of these guys accessories. Don't know why. Just felt like none of them needed it. I used the Indiana Jones cap, and I just sanded it down a lot to make it more like his fedora. And then painted the lines on his head and used silver for his eyes. I don't know. He's older, so he's not my favorite. I made him as soon as the movie came out while I was working on Smash stuff. And then just a really simple torso and legs and arms. It's all just monochromatic, English. So yeah, not the best, but he's fine. He's accurate. That's all I care about. Yeah. And I knocked the camera, so let's just it's still on correctly. Okay, I'll go with that. Next up, we move on to another one of my favorites, and the Last of the Spider People, or not the Last of the Spider People, the movie The Last of the Spider People that I made. That would be Penny Parker. Penny Parker. I did not make her Mac. I was originally going to make her Mac, but then I decided not to. So I used the cave girl hair because I feel like it is the best from the front. From the back it looks a little odd, but I I think that's perfect. Oh, and yeah, there's just a sneak peek because this is a fully custom face. I'm pretty proud of how it came out. Now I have made, I've really mastered anime faces because I've made a couple more. This was really one of my, if not my first one, because this was, I think this was my first figure of the year, actually. So, yeah. And then she has just a really simple torso. And I should have used little legs for her. I don't know why I used big legs, but I did. She has an E-tape skirt, and I just used the actual Lego backpack piece for her backpack. I probably should have made a custom one. That would have looked better. But I like it. I think she's really cool. And then the feet were really hard to paint. And also when I do little legs, it's hard to get all the details, and it's hard to paint in between them and stuff. So yeah, I like using big legs more, but I don't know if it fit exactly for this figure. But I like her. She's really good. Okay, now we're getting back to the newer figures with my second favorite figure. And I feel like I'm being kind of negative in this showcase because half of them are really old and half of them finished yesterday. So I don't want to keep being negative, but I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of a lot of them. We have Prowler now because I decided instead of making Spider-Ham to make two villains. So he's my first villain, as I just said. And so I sculpted his scarf, and I'm really proud of how that came out because I was originally going to use the Lego Movie 2 scarf piece, but I didn't. And then I painted his little symbol on his torso, and then it's like the sides of the color of his scarf, so instead of painting it onto the sides of his, like his lines right here, I actually put them on the sides of his torso. So I think that's pretty neat the way that came out. Then he's super simplistic because he's really simplistic in the movie, but I tried to make him interesting at the same time. So he has just the same purple pants as the color of his head and his torso, and he just has a painted black belt. I was originally gonna use a Lego Batman movie. I was gonna say Lego Batman movie 2. What? Lego Batman movie belt piece. That may have worked better. But I didn't. And then I just painted the boots black with just, they're pretty simplistic, so I just did the purple stripes and then the purple dots. Has some different black details, but I didn't add them all, because I felt like it would be weird to have the simplistic this, and this, and then just have super realistic boots. But I did give him his claws, which use, some, I'm having a lot of trouble speaking today. I don't know why. They used the handcuff pieces, and I just painted some black on them. And then I painted his little claws onto his hand. And maybe should have sculpted them or something. Then his head I'm really proud of. It's really simple, but it was kind of hard to make, and I think it looks really great. And then the cape, I just cut out of paper. I don't know why that noise just happened. I just cut the cape out of paper. Painted this side purple, painted this side, the dark bluish color that's on a lot of them. So yeah, there's one figure left. And you may be thinking, Ben, you covered most of the main characters. There aren't really many main characters left. And there aren't. I made a minor character. And I'm going to have to resituate the camera because of this. I got to back up the camera a lot. This is Green Goblin. Just for a little more size comparison, here's Monty. He comes up to about here. He is a big figure. I used the official Lego Green Goblin Big Fig, and I just sculpted all the stuff onto him. First of all, I sculpted his giant hat, of course, and then I sculpted on his muscles because he had armor, so I sanded off the armor and then sculpted on muscles. I sculpted his tail, and then I resculpted his feet and hands to where he has 3 fingers or 4 fingers and 3 feet. So yeah, he's a big boy, but I'm really proud of him. I think all the details on him came out really well. And then the wings are from Batmobile set, some Batmobile set. I feel like they're the perfect size for him. Except I did cut off some of it had more wing parts, and then I just cut them off, make it a little more, I was going to say realistic, but like, I guess, would it be realistic? Just canon. Make it a little more canon. And so yeah, I used paper to make his little cuffs, and then I painted all his little goblin freckles on his arms and on his legs and everything. I'm really proud of how the goblin freckles came out. I only did the paint on his wings in one layer, 2 layers on some parts that I didn't want to stick to give it a veiny kind of look, and I really like it. This one's got a little off. It's too high compared to that one. But when you look at it like this, it's fine. So you just gotta look at them like that. And then of course, he has his 3 fingers, and then I painted on his fingernails, and then his toenails are sculpted. And then I used, it's like, there was this set for, what is that movie called? Why can't I think today? It's really early. I never record custom reviews this early, but I got a busy day, so I'm recording it early. That's probably part of it. But Lone Ranger. There was this Lone Ranger set that was like a teepee, and so I cut up the teepee to create his loincloth. So I did use Lego for that. So that's cool. And then I used 2 official pumpkin bombs to be his pumpkin bombs. I thought that would be a neat little touch because I have 2 matching ones, and I was like, hey, he has 2 pumpkin bombs on him. I should use 2 real pumpkin bombs, and that would be kind of neat. Oh, and also I sculpted the inside of his arm so he doesn't look like a freak. And yeah, that's it for my Spider-Man Into the Spider-Man. That's it for my Spider-Man Into the Spider-Man custom review. Thank you so much for watching. Marvel 10-year challenge will be out next week. If I'm lucky, I may even have another review out next week of Shazam. Probably not, though, even if I finish the figure before the movie comes out. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, going back to work on this little project that I've had set aside for a long time. But I got Endgame now. That's going to take up the majority of the summer. And then as soon as I'm done with it, I'll have to work on Far From Home. And I still haven't finished Captain Marvel. Halfway through with Captain Marvel. I just gotta order some pieces for that. So yeah, hopefully. I don't know why I'm saying hopefully. Thank you for watching. Marvel 10-year challenge will be next Friday to coincide with the release of Avengers Endgame. I'm really excited for that. So yeah, I don't know what to say now, so I'm just gonna end the video. Stay nerdy, friends.